Moving on.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order with this pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It does slide.
We'll go ahead and start with the roll call. Joe Gillespie.
Here.
Scott McDonough's not here tonight. Carol Lanning.
Present.
Jeff Cook, I'm here. Brian Patterson.
Here.
Joe Sizemore's not here. Glenn Bischoff.
Here.
We do have a quorum. Next is the old business, the approval of the minutes from June 28th, 2022. Is there any corrections or additions?
I'll move to accept the minutes from the June 28th meeting, 2022.
Carol Lanning has made a motion to approve the minutes from June 28th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Glenn Bischoff seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is John Palmer with the ARPA updates and Metamora Radio invoice.
Can you hear me okay, Jeff?
Yep.
Well, the update is this. I think last time we were together, we were talking about how much money we had received a second set of money. We've got that now, which is good. If we take a look at the things we're obligated for the first and second set, we still have about 1.9 million to spend. We haven't spent anything other than the fire department radios from Metamora right now, and the Reedy, I think, has an invoice that some of the consulting that does for us on this project. But we're going to ask you to think about and approve tonight another additional appropriation to the next meeting. It's going to come out of the second half of the money. Again, it's projects that we're looking at. Nothing has actually been decided yet, but we want to make sure that we don't get in a situation where we're going to start spending money and we have to wait another month or two to get it approved. So that's pretty much where we are at this point. Other than the repair of the buildings, the ADA, those kind of things, we haven't got anything on the agenda that we've actually approved yet. But we did talk in a meeting just a little while ago about some of the requirements that are with the money, some of the things that we have to make sure that any recipient of money gets, things like that. So we're a little closer to trying to basically use a scoring mechanism for scoring our expenditures, but we haven't gotten to that point with that second part of the money yet. So. Any questions about any of this so far? Paul, do you have anything to add to that? Do you have anything to add to that?
No, just that I'd like to consider to pay for the radios from their contingency since it's been a couple of months since they've approved the bill for the radios.
So we're going to take care of that?
No, they need to take care of it.
And the amount that we're going to ask them to approve an additional appropriation for the next meeting is about $650,000, I believe. So, again, nothing specific. We just looked at the project and said, hey, we're going to work on these. How much money would it take? So we're just putting that aside. Until you see this, you'll see the request to approve each expenditure come along. And within those groups of appropriations we made, Carl and I are going to keep track of each project, so that we know how much money is going to each of those. So some projects were approved, like the ADA building, let's just assume it was $450,000. If we have to spend some money for the engineering study, virtually that'll come out. And then there's more money to be done for monitoring and construction, that'll come out. So it's going to be pretty good record keeping on the park, make sure we keep track of what each project that needs spent, rather than just saying we spent X number of money, dollars out of this appropriation. Because as Carl pointed out one time, if you assume you're going to get audited, we ought to keep the records to make sure that we can back this up. So that's the big thing with this money. It's seems like free money, but the federal government has a lot of strings attached to it. And we have to be pretty careful on those. The grants helping. But anyway, that's where we are. If you don't have any questions, I'll go sit down and shut up. I'll go sit down and shut up.
So you're wanting us to approve what's on this list here, $700,000, and you don't know if you're going to use it for these?
Let me get closer, Brian, might hear.
I can talk louder, John.
I can answer it. This is on the top. It's written out. It's for next meeting, August meeting.
Next month.
Well, where's the one he's wanting to approve today?
He doesn't have it for today. He's just coming before you to let you know what he's doing.
Okay, I thought you said you had that.
It's kind of like I'm prepping you.
Okay.
John's doing what we always ask of everyone. Come ahead of time.
No, that's okay. Good.
So that's what John's doing. Yep.
Okay.
Except someone's switching.
Not the health department. Okay, next would be the health department.
Do we need to have a motion on the paying the
Okay.
Metamora out of the contingency fund?
I do need a motion.
I will make that motion. It should probably explain.
Yeah, explain what.
The Metamora Fire Department requested, I believe, 2 radios for about $6,200. And it was an approved project with ARPA funds. But through our consulting with Reedy, we were told that we are not to give any of the federal money to any nonprofit that does not have what's called a SAMS number. And Metamora's, I think they did have one in the past, but it's expired and they need to get it renewed. But I tried to help them last Friday do that. We ran into a glitch immediately on the first page. So it's just, this is a bill that they need us to get paid, and we're going to try to figure out on the back end how we can get the ARPA funds back from ARPA and into County General just for this one purchase.
So I will make a motion to pay that out of our contingency fund, subject to that being reimbursed when they achieve their SAMS number, or if they reimburse our contingency fund.
That's 6,200.
It's actually attached to.
I'll second that.
For 35 cents?
All right, so Joe Gillespie has made a motion to approve an invoice for the Metamora Radio system out of the County Council Contingency Fund in the amount of $6,289.35. And it's been seconded by Brian Patterson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay. Now we're on to the health department.
Good evening. I'm coming just for an update on what's happening with our local health department. And the state of Indiana has a new incentive for us to get our children and also the adults more up to date on immunizations. Not because of COVID. We are lagging, just not in Franklin County, but just throughout Indiana and the United States with childhood immunizations. And there's a push to get people more up to date. And so we in the health department are increasing our hours to evenings and also weekends. And so we're going to be needing more assistance with employees and staffing. So I am new to this position. I'm only 4 days in, so and I'm working through all this, but I wanted to give you a heads up as to what is happening. And we're going to need to get another URN into the department, and also we're going to hire a position for a health department liaison, because the government center is going to be closed, and we need to be able to have somebody here when people are coming in during the off hours to be able to direct people into the health department. Somebody with that's from we're trying to recruit from the Brookville Fire Department, EMS, somebody that's going to be wearing like a uniform with a badge and a little bit medical, and that way we can help keep the flow going and direct people where they need to go. And also part of one of the grants is for health maintenance, where we can help start gathering more data as to what is happening within Franklin County for health disparities, where we can sort of spot as to where there's needs within the county, and we can start targeting what's happening. We can get out from behind the desks where we have been for the past several years and get out into the community and help start serving people here in Franklin County. That is the goal as to what's going on. But this is going to require that we need to start beefing up our equipment. Some of our automobiles have been lagging in maintenance. Some of them are just older and outdated. Right now, I've been sending them down to Shermer's. They're getting inspected. Got to find out where we are standing with that equipment. We have an RV that has been basically standing still for 10 years. There's extreme concerns about being able to move that safely. Safety is going to be the concern, where we have to do like an assessment as to where we are with that and being able to utilize this. So right now we're just in an assessment phase, working with Dr. Welsh to see where we are going to be able to use what we have, and also being able to purchase the proper equipment that we are in compliance with the state to be able to take these expensive vaccines and be able to move them off site and be able to have a local clinic of some sort with the proper equipment that we do need. So I'm just wanting to just throw this out here to you right now, because I realize that we have a budget that has been already submitted, but we're sort of putting the cart before the horse. And so, and I am in the process of learning, how this whole system flow is going. But so I'm just wanting to just give you a heads up as to where we are right now and where we need to be in the short future that's coming for right now. Does anybody have any questions?
Do you still have the camper that they bought years ago?
That's the RV.
Oh, that's an RV.
It's not a camper. It's a 30-foot RV.
Oh, it is an RV?
It's an 8,000-pound, and it's more of a recreational vehicle. It's not handicap accessible. It's not, it's not exactly like so we're doing an assessment on it, okay? And it could be used for certain things, but everything's going to be determined. It's all in the infancy right now.
Well, I know they bought a camper years ago.
Carol, can you click yourself?
They bought a camper years ago, and they used it over the fair several times for blood pressure checks, things like that. But it's not an RV, but it was a regular camper that had to be pulled by a truck. And when I was on council last time, they bought that. So is that still?
It has 2 pop-outs. It sleeps 9. It has 2 kitchens, microwave. It's a recreational vehicle. is not, so we're in it as an assessment phase with it right now. It has been sitting, and it is not good for RVs to sit. So let's get a chance to find out where we stand with it right now, for what we need to be able to take care of for a public health mobile clinic. So just a heads up.
Okay.
Anything else?
It's not. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the Reedy Financial Group invoice 8635 in the amount of $3,961.33. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Joe Gillespie has made a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. Glenn Bischoff seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Barada Law Office invoice 25868 in the amount of $203.50. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion. Glenn Bischoff makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Carol Lanning seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is the additional appropriation resolution 2022-19. Where it has been determined it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget. Now, therefore, Section 1 be it ordained by County Council of Franklin County that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified subject to laws governing the same. Debt bond payment, other services and charges, $189,260. For a total for debt bond payment, $189,260. Funding general supplies, $20,000. For a total for general fund, $20,000. Approved on this 26th day of July 2022. Any questions? I'm going to go ahead and read this one for the $189,260 so everybody understands. The debt bond payment. The payment was due January 2022 and will be paid in December of 2022.
It's due.
I'm sorry. 23. I'm sorry. Let me read that again. The payment due in January 2022 will be paid in December 2022.
You just said it.
I said it again. It's 2000. The payment's going to be paid.
What payment? December 20.
January 2023. Will be paid in December of this year, 2022. This is for appropriation purposes only, no additional spending. It just wasn't encumbered in December 2021 and should have been for the January 2022 payment. Any questions?
Is there late penalties or anything on that?
No, this is, we actually already made the payments for this year. We will make the payment in December for January 2023. And Reedy is the one who, we wouldn't have to, we could do it in 2023 and the money would be appropriated. It's just that Reedy is saying that we should do this and make sure that we make that payment in December of this year and for next year. So it's just that. It's just permission to spend. We have the cash. So So since we didn't encumber last year's, it went back into the cash. That's what we have.
Pete, is your stuff going up? Inflation hitting you or something? You got $20,000 in supplies?
Yes, sir.
Inflation's hitting you?
Well, everything else applies for the jail, and I'm hoping that will get me through the year. Hoping, yes.
Any other questions? The floor is open for a motion.
Motion to approve additional appropriations.
Joe Gillespie has made a motion to approve resolution 2022-19. Do I have a second?
Second.
Brian Patterson seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is the transfer of funds certificate 2022-20. The Franklin County Council hereby certifies the following action in regards to transferring from one major budget classification to another. Public Law 54 SB, effective April 14, 1971, was done at a meeting on July 26, 28, 2022. From election office equipment repair, $1,000, to election equipment, $1,000. From Old State Road 1 contractual, $6,000, to Old State Road 1 signs, $6,000. And that such transfers do not necessitate expenditure of more money than was set out in detail in the budget is finally approved by the State Department of Local Government Finance. The transfer was made at a regular public meeting to proper resolution, a copy of which is attached to the certificate. Any questions? Floor is open for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve transfer of funds certificate 2022-20.
Brian Patterson has made a motion to approve resolution 2022-20. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Carol Lanning, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Please sign 2 places. Next is a need for a motion. Since we're moving one fund to another for county's match, this is for an amount of $285,000. This is a transfer of funds from Old State Road 1, bituminous Old State Road 1, to matching Community Crossings Grant, Fund 9190, in the amount of $285,000. Any questions?
So this is what Larry was talking about last meeting about the overages, correct? Said bituminous went up so much that they had to pull from Old State Road 1 and we couldn't pay for one of the projects that he was trying to approve last week or last meeting. He's not. Never mind.
This is our match for community crossing, paving 2 roads.
Right.
Can you say what those 2 roads are?
One of them is Whitcomb and the other one is
5 Points Road.
5 Point.
Any other questions? Floor's open for a motion.
I'll move to approve the transfer of funds.
Carol Lanning's made a motion to approve the transfer of funds of $280,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joe Gillespie seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next is the school resource officer agreement. We'll just need a motion and approval from council for the president to sign.
I'll make a motion for the president to sign the school resource officer agreement presented by Chef Cates.
Brian Patterson's made a motion to approve the signage of the school resource officer agreement. Do I have a second? Aye. Glenn Bischoff seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next is Achivia Resources.
They're just requesting money. You guys just got to decide, I guess, what you want to do with it.
Okay. It looks like the Achivia is requesting $75,000.
That's from, looks like 6 different counties.
Okay. And at the bottom, it looks like there's $3,000.
Yeah, that's what I said down there.
So it's up to council. What would you want to do?
Is this something we already give them in budget?
Can we table this to budget time?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll move to table this to budget time.
Carol Lanning's made a motion to table until budget time. Do I have a second? Aye. Glenn Bischoff seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
What's Achivia Resources for?
That's what we're going to find out.
Yeah.
It looks like it's all guardianship.
Okay, next is the 2020 bond report. Can you speak to this?
This is for the bond that we did in 2020 and some of the expenses that were approved for whatever reason have fallen through. So there's still $213,104.63 that still needs to be spent in some way.
Does that have to be spent this year?
Does it have to be spent this year?
Yeah, no, I don't think it does.
So we could wait till budget time and figure out if we want to spend anything.
We can't give you this copy. Can you stop the mics?
I was just asking a question if it had to be spent this year or not.
And I said, I don't think it does, but yes, I can check on it, and it's something that we can visit at budget times, the budget hearings.
So what fell off what did we miss?
I think there was actually some double budgeting of some items for APC with the new software and some equipment. It got budgeted in 2 different places. I think there was some laptops or something which we had already gotten with the CARES money. So those weren't needed. cupola didn't cost us much.
The coupon didn't cost us much, absolutely.
What'd that come in at?
So maybe 223, somewhere there.
Yeah, we had way more than that budgeted for
I
that.
thought for sure that thing had $300,000.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we'll revisit this.
I just want you guys to be aware that it's sitting there.
Well, we got an extra $213,104.63 just showed up. So I'd like to see this applied to any low water crossing possible.
Okay.
Santa Claus keeps showing up.
You just need to acknowledge that you received it.
Yeah. So we have the sheriff's report, commissary funds. It's basically a balance sheet, and it's showing a balance of $30,760.28. And this is as of June 30th, 2022. We just need a acknowledgement that we got it, so a motion would work.
I'll move to accept this report, sheriff's report.
Carol Ames made a motion that we accept this commissary fund report. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joe Gillespie seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
You gotta address your public events for advertising.
And that is just reading.
No, we're gonna have to remove that. Okay. You probably remember, but no, maybe not, public safety. Anyways, we need to address the requests that were given to us by the fire departments for part of public safety tax money. And I pulled the sheriff's budgets so that I think we could kind of tell where we're gonna be at. Because the meeting that we had before this meeting, when we were discussing the ARPA money and how to perhaps maybe assist with some of the fire departments, we had discussed paying for it out of the public safety tax instead of ARPA funds. But then we also discussed that that would take a big hit because the funds that the sheriff has requested that would not be able to be budgeted through the public safety tax would then fall back onto county general. And looking at the PSAP amount that would actually come right off the top if you approve today's budget that he has submitted for PSAP is $598,163. We approximately get 1.5 million. So this amount comes straight off the top of that, which would leave 901,000 before we address the EMS and the fire departments. Whether that be EMS contract at 300,000, the 100,000 for an ambulance, and then whatever we decide to get the fire departments. But the two budgets that he would like to fund with the public safety money after all of that would be remaining for the jail. He put in $392,474, and then for the sheriff, $346,111. So you can bet one of these is not going to be funded with public safety. There's not really enough money there for that. One of those.
So, and on the volunteer fire and the TSAP, we have to set a public hearing. Is it the next meeting is when it will be, Carla? Will it be in there?
Yes.
Okay. There's a you have to advertise for a public hearing at the next meeting because it has to be done by September 1st. So I would advertise that as the maximum you might want to use, and we can put that in as a not to exceed number, and then once you have the public hearing, you can come down. So if you think you might want an ambulance on top of the normal EMS budget, I'd advertise for the 300 plus the 100, and you can always come down. But if you advertise only the 3, then you can go back up. And the benefit to you is that the volunteer fire and the EMS and the PSEP money comes off the top before it's distributed to municipalities. So those, that ends up saving the county something like 15 to 20%, someplace along in there based on the relevant populations.
And the county gets about 72% of whatever's left. Like, that comes off the top. And then, like, say your left was 600,000 as your remaining money that's going to be distributed to the taxing units, the county receives about 72% of that. So you can figure out what you need for your budgets.
So what's council want to do?
Explain to me one more time what the question is that you're trying to, what do you?
We have to actually put a public notice in the paper.
Okay.
We're actually notifying the other taxing units that, hey, out of the public safety money, this is what we're taking off the top. So you're not going to get this. So it does affect their budgets as well.
Okay.
So whatever we add on top of it. So we always pay the EMS contract out of it. That's $300,000, and that comes right off the top. PSAP is the maximum we would advertise would be the amount that he's asking for, which is the number I said, the 590-some thousand.
Yeah.
And then, like this year, the fire departments are receiving, it's either 5 or 6, I can't remember how many fire departments we have. It's 30,000 total, got divided amongst the fire departments that actually requested money.
Oh, the PSAP, okay.
The only reason that we are even suggesting using the public safety money was actually in place of the request for ARPA. Because of the fact that they had to go get that DUNS number and have the SAMS number before we could give them the money. So that's kind of the decision you have to weigh, and it will hit County General though, because anything that is coming off the top that we're paying for means it's less money for our own budget that the sheriff uses.
So okay, so we're doing this because they don't have their, what you call that, SAMS number? How hard is it to get a SAMS number?
I don't know.
It's kind of a pain. It takes a little while and you have to submit some financial stuff, so it's not something you can do in a blink of an eye.
Okay.
So there's in addition to that, there's just the general, if they end up being a subrecipient of ARPA, there's probably going to be quite a bit more tracking requirement than what the public safety requires. That will be an administrative burden probably on the entity and on the county. And then the additional factor is that if you use the public safety money instead of the ARPA money, you get that extra kick. I thought it was 20%. Are you saying it's actually like 72.28 now?
That's our portion. The portion you're talking about is that we cannot exceed that 27% that we put in there. So if he only asked for, 200,000, 27% would be higher than that.
What I was talking about was the portion of the public safety that, because of the part that comes off when it gets distributed 100%.
Yeah, we're like at 72.
Instead of 70, so you're getting a 28% premium on that. Most of those are, EMS is a countywide function, so everybody's still getting the benefit of it, but you get that additional funding to help pay for it if you take it out of the public safety money, and then you would use the ARPA funds to offset that hole in some way. Where that hole comes down in public safety, you would backfill that with the ARPA funds.
So just like the request that John is saying for next month, you see it says 100,000 for the ambulance. That would go away from ARPA and it would come off the public safety.
Does the EMS have a SAMS number?
I hope so. I still need to find out if they do.
Okay, so Amy, maybe you can answer me this. SAMS number, is that a federal number?
Yes.
Okay, and that federal number is something that you need to receive federal monies or grants or things like that. How many fire departments and EMSs do we have in the county that do not have a SAMS number and never applied for federal money?
Of the 8 departments, I know that at least 3 of them have applied for federal money, probably more. But the SAMS number is sort of a relatively new requirement in the last few years, and it takes usually about 4 weeks to get that number when you start it right away. So it can take a little longer to have to gather your financial data for it.
Okay.
They're going to have to get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They have to get that.
Regardless whether they need to monthly or bi-yearly, or every year they need to be applying for federal money. They can't.
There's a difference though when they apply for the money and when we are getting the money and passing it through. It's totally different. Because we're now responsible for what they're doing with that, because it's still our money.
Right, and it's okay. I think oversight is good, personally. That's why we pay Amy. She can help manage that money. That's what she applies for the grants with their SAMS number, and then we send it on down to them, and then we make sure they're spending it on what they're supposed to be spending it on.
I think they also, Carla, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they also need a UEI number if they're applying for the grant directly instead of a pass-through.
Oh, they need that for a pass-through too.
Okay, that can take more time. It's not the easiest process, but it's not the most complicated thing in the world. It just takes some time, and you have to, put some financial information in there.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
They will have to get that.
Yes. So as far as the advertising, I'm on board with doing it the exact same way we did last year, and then if there's any money left over, then we take that opportunity to possibly divvy it out later, or how do we, because if they're coming to him and already submitted all these requests for $800,000 fire trucks and $100,000 ambulance, for a half ambulance, that's something separate that we need to deal with as it comes up. And then have a vote amongst ourselves and talk about the need versus wants and things like that. Instead of just giving it all here, right off the bat and then shipping it off. I think that's how I understand what's being asked, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're correct, Ryan. I agree with you. I think we need to continue to fund the jail out of the public safety money. I think that would. Yeah. I think it would cause County General to be really difficult to balance, and in order for us to stay within our financial plan, I think that's what we need to do.
I agree. Now, as far as our $30,000 that we give all the fire departments, I would like to see that greatly increased at some point. And I believe there's some people out there that are at the State House that have had some ideas on how different calculations that you can work different ways to fund these different small fire departments a little differently and with more money based off an algorithm that based off their population, their runs and things like that.
Fire territories, absolutely. Fire territories. Solves it. I'll say it again and again.
If that's the answer, then that's the answer, but I don't know what.
I think there'll be some money left, and we can distribute that among the fire departments. But I agree with you that we need to do similar to what we did last year, continue to fund the jail out of that.
Is the 30,000 just what they requested?
No.
That's what we gave last year.
90,000.
Oh, it is? Okay, I didn't.
It's add up all those.
I didn't know how much you
I think
requested.
I added it. I think it was 191,000.
Was it? Okay.
There's more than that.
So do we need a motion to leave it this way it is, or?
Well,
We have
nothing?
more fire departments this year, so if you leave it the same, they'll even get less than what they got this year. And then we have to definitely change, we have to definitely change the PSAP amount because that's substantially, this year's substantially lower than what he is requesting for his budget. I think we have to at least advertise what he's requesting. And then you guys can lower that at your, after the budget hearings. But I think you have to at least advertise.
So you're saying Sheriff Cates is maxing out our PSAP, and so the fire departments aren't even in the running at this point? Is that the numbers that you shot?
No, it's the ordinance that you guys will sign will actually specify an amount for PSAP. And that comes right off the top. So whatever budget you approve for him, that's gonna come right off the top of the public safety money.
Okay.
And then you'll have your 300,000 for the contract,
Okay.
and then whatever. you
Okay,
do for
there's
the-
more.
Yeah, but we got 1.5 total.
Okay,
He
that's.
wants 6.
I thought you said the 6 was maxing us out.
No.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought it was more.
And we've got ARPA money in the mix that we can use to help with $100,000 for the ambulance and the fire departments.
Yeah.
The other issue apart from the number is still that off the top issue, because say you give $100,000 for an ambulance, you decide to do that out of ARPA money, you're getting the full $100,000, whereas based on the number Carlos said, if you do it out of the public safety money, you're getting $72,000, and then the other 28 is coming from the other municipalities. So that's why we've always done the PSAP that way, because you're saving that much off the top, where you're getting a contribution for a countywide function that increases that. That's why we did the EMS contract that way on the $300,000. So if you don't at least advertise for that, for the increased amount, then you can lower it at the hearing. You can have Reedy model it, or it can come back with the numbers to show you where it shakes out. You are leaving that on the table if you just advertise for what you advertised for last year. If you decide you want to contribute to an ambulance or increase the volunteer fire off of this year because you have the ARPA funds and then talked about.
Yes. So if this was going to cost local municipalities 28%, and EMS was going to receive less, or however you're going to maneuver it, how did this get brought up? What was it just over that Sam's number?
You mean for where to get the money to the fire departments?
No, well, I'm asking if this was going to cost local municipalities money, why are we having this conversation?
It's not costing, you get a set amount that comes into the county. And the thinking has been in the past that when that set amount comes into the county, it will allocate based on population across the county. The money that goes to PSAP comes off before that allocation across the county, and 100% of it comes to the county itself and doesn't go to the municipalities. So that's how you had in the past, all of the municipalities get benefit from dispatch. So that has allowed money for dispatch to go to that dispatch purpose. The EMS serves most of the county, so that's why that money is coming that way. So we're not losing money into the county as a whole. It's coming into the county government to pay for those functions versus going into Batesville, Brooksville, Mount Carmel, splitting across on a population basis. So roughly on the EMS contract every year, the county is getting $300,000 coming in because you allocate that. If you weren't allocating before we started doing that, you were paying you would have only gotten $200,000 and you would have had to come up with a shortfall after the fact someplace else. Whereas now you get that full $300,000 coming into the county before it goes, since it doesn't go to the municipalities. It's a quirk in the state statute that has certain categories that come off the top before the distribution is made to the participating municipalities within the community. If that's what you want to do, if you want that money to go to the municipalities, you can certainly do that. But that's not been, at least on emergency services and PSAP, what's been done in the past.
I think if I show you what we get from the state on how to distribute the money, it'll make more sense to you.
Yeah, okay.
Because even what the state says to us, because we do all this on the top, we have to recalculate everything. And come up, we can't even really follow what the state gives us because we took things off the top. So yeah, it gets kind of confusing.
This benefits the county.
Yes, I understand that. Okay, yeah. I understand that. Okay.
So we just need to know how much do you want to advertise to give to the fire departments. From what we can calculate, there's 8 of them.
So the 30, and that's more than past years.
Yeah, like last year, there were 5, 6.
Right.
That requested.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So now there's 8 that are requesting, and I would like we can advertise whatever we want, but we don't have to pay it to them. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying advertise the biggest dollar amount you might ever want, and then have Reedy work with you with the budget to figure out what fund you actually want to pay it out on. If you want to do exactly what you did last year at the end of the day, that's great. But if you cut it off now, and you're cut off and can't go back, if Reedy says, oh, it would be nice if you had this money over here, and don't have that.
I'm a fan of giving each fire department a larger amount at the beginning budget hearings than have them come and ask for radios and this and that, and I would rather give them more up front to deal with that because we had that happen this year and it didn't set well with me. I would rather deal with it at budget hearing, and so just to start with, I'd like to I guess make a motion to what to advertise for a dollar amount. I make a motion to advertise for $100,000 for all local fire department total lump sum for next year out of PSAP. I think I said that right. Then we can work our way back, but we can't go over that, right? Okay.
But we go on and make it.
That's triple in there.
Can I add something? Why don't we advertise for the total amount that was requested, the 191,000 or whatever their total request.
You mean whatever their actual request was?
Yeah.
Do you think that number's gonna?
And see if we can fund it. And it's like some 25,000 per fire department or something like that.
I think I have to list each fire department, don't I, Rick? When we advertise it?
Yeah, we normally advertise as a draft ordinance, so basically you could advertise as a draft ordinance and state not to exceed the following amounts at the top of it. Normally, when you get more certain on certain dollar figures, you've gone ahead and advertised for a certain amount. In the past, on this one, we can do a not to exceed. To be anybody asks for, you say that we need to see that number, because you can't go over that, especially in the fire and EMS, you can't go over that number because they had to submit that number by
July 1st.
July 1st.
So right now, there's a motion on the floor from Brian Patterson, $100,000 for fire departments out of the PSAP. Do I have a second?
I'd be okay amending my motion, that's fine.
No. So seeing no second, motion fails. The floor is open for another motion. So yeah, whatever we need to do.
Okay. So would you say the number was, Joe, 191?
For the total request by the fire departments. I added it up once, I thought it was under 91,000 change, but I'll do it again.
But I don't do it like that. We don't say lump sum, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have to actually list each fire department. And my concern is even if you, like, say, approve 190, like, one's only going to get like 9,000.
Can we listen? Can I make a motion to advertise each one of these fire department requests? Is that acceptable? That's what I'll.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We can't hear Mr. Gillespie.
I'm going to make a motion to advertise the fire department's request, and Brookville has requested $21,490. Laurel has requested $20,000. Cedar Grove has requested $18,986.40. New Trenton has requested $25,000. Blooming Grove has requested $20,000. Drursburg has requested $13,024.80. Eagle Fire Company has requested $9,000. Metamora has requested $26,760. And that would be my motion.
Joe Gillespie has made a motion to advertise for the fire department's request as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
Brian Patterson seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So just so the public knows, this is for budget hearings and advertising purposes only. This is not what we're giving the local fire departments at this point.
That's correct.
Yep.
Just so the public knows.
Anything else to come before council?
You need to do, did the EMS amount get stuck in there?
It's in there.
You got the EMS covered and the PSAP and doing the rate of the sheriff's did. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Jerry.
I just wanted to give a heads up again for the security center. By the time we pay the installation of the roof unit, it's going to be, the money's going to be negative, I think. So we don't know the amount yet, but I just want to give you a heads up. Maybe we'll know more next month.
Like how much over are you thinking?
Well, this has been a little bit, but I think there was, paid Kathy said we had 30,000. And the amount of that unit would be like almost 60,000, so it's not really a good deal.
So this is for a new roof unit?
It is, yes.
And you came back, you requested 30,000 from us? Or Jerry did?
What had happened, the AC unit utility to be replaced. I talked to Mr. Commissioner in charge of the jail. We got that okay. I've not got the unit yet. They haven't got the parts. It's on back order. So we're looking to put a new one up there. What I believe Mr. Little was saying is that the money for the line for the jail is running short.
All right. Anything else to come before council? The floor is open for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Caroline has made a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joe Gillespie seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Meeting adjourned.